Guys, so this is Pulse MIG module number 3, video number 2, and like I promised, what I did is I got something identical to what we did our trial run on, but on this one I left just a nasty mill scale ridden piece of material, tacked it up. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it won't weld. I'm just going to tell you you're not going to like the performance, and you're not going to like the outcome, and you're not going to like the way it looks. I'm going to do everything that I did before, so if you come over to the machine, you'll notice I'm at 50 on my arc length. I'm at 325 on my wire feed speed, because that's what I set up, that's what I like. 35 CFH on my 9010 shielding gas. But in this one, you're going to notice it pops and hisses. Now, there's some things that I can do to avoid that. Arc length, or not arc length, stick out is one of them. When you first strike your arc, if you're hearing a lot of popping and spattering and hissing, it may be that your stick out is too close. Back away and it may quiet up a little bit. On cleaner steel, you can hear this and see this better. Dirty steel, it's going to pop, hiss, and spit no matter what. So let's run some on the dirty steel so that you can hear it and get a sound for it. And then we will run some on clean steel and see if we can tell the difference. Ready? Eyes. Okay, so we run a little bit. If you guys come in here and look, we got a weld. It tied in. It's all right. Did it spit and pop and hiss horribly? No, but it was there a little bit. I did hear it. I didn't really like it. So we're going to put that down to the side, and I'm going to grab my clean piece, the piece that I cleaned the scale off of. Okay, same thing, same everything, just a simple lap joint. I'm going to adjust that stick out to where everything quiets down, and I'm going to do a slow circular motion. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit of why I'm doing a circular motion on my little playbook dry erase board there. But let's run one and see how we're doing. Eyes. Okay, if you look, what you notice, my toes are a little cleaner. I definitely liked the sound of it a lot better. And while I'm welding, that puddle is not erratic. With the dirty steel, it's kind of all over the place. The toes are really hard to see because you pull a lot of that scale to the surface and it hides your toes and you can't really see. On clean material, man, those toes are just as clean and crisp as you can be. You can see down where your penetration's tying in. Everything's nice and consistent. Once again, did a circular motion, ran that bead, nice sound. Didn't hear a lot of popping or hissing in between there. So that's Pulse MIG. Now, my goal is once we get through the modes of transfer and I show you guys the way to set them up, simple basic operations of them, what they can do, what they can't do. I want to try to get into some pipe stuff, and when we get into pipe doing position work, I'll start rehashing the Pulse MIG, the spray, the RMD, all the different modes of transfer we're going to go through this class, but that will be towards the latter modules. So before I let you go, we're going to go back over here to my dry erase board real quick. I'm going to pull out my dry erase marker, and we're going to talk about why it is that I ran a circular motion. Because I'm going to tell you guys, I'm one welder of many, and there's a lot of guys out there that will probably run it different than I do. There's some people out there in the industry that say, you know what, I just drag my Pulse MIG. And if that's you, great, cool, fine, mate. As long as you make it look good, tie in, hit your weld size, we're okay with that. Myself personally, I got to add a little manipulation so that I can keep my travel speed consistent. And that's what manipulation does a lot of the times for me, especially in wire welding. Adding a slight amount of manipulation, and if you can see while I'm welding, it's not crazy. It's nice and consistent and slow and smooth. I don't leave the puddle. That manipulation adds some consistency to my travel speed. Therefore, it's going to add some consistency to my weld size, and that's why I do it. And there's a reason why I ran circles. So if I'm running circles on a manipulation, all I'm doing inside that puddle is circling nice, smooth, keeping my travel speed nice and consistent. Circles we're running 035 wire, are we not? So we're running 035 wire. Using a circle manipulation with this kind of setup is going to give me a 1/4 inch fillet weld size. If I did a slight whip, or whip and pause, or whatever you want to call it, it's just a forward-backward motion. We'll just call it a whip. That is going to give me a weld size of 3/16 of an inch. Now that's kind of cool, because if I throw up here on a joint and I say, all right, here's a weld joint, T-joint, there's your fillet weld, I want a 1/4 of an inch. If I'm restricted to this wire size, then I can say, well, heck, I can do that. I'll set my machine 50 on the arc length, 325 on the wire feed speed, and I'm going to run a 1/4 inch fillet weld, so I'm going to do circles. Maybe that game changes, and they say, we want a 3/16 weld here. Okay, well, and I'm going to still run 035 wire, still going to run 50 on the arc length, still going to run 325, but I'm going to do a whip and pause or a whip and hesitation motion, which is going to give me a 3/16 fillet weld. Now, remember, fillet weld sizes are usually equal to their material thickness. So usually when they're going to ask for a 3/16 weld, there's probably 3/16 material thickness here. Now, if I don't give you that weld size and I just give you a fillet weld, then as a welder, you should automatically go to the material, and that is what your weld size should be. Now, I'm going to give you one more quick thing before I let you go. We dealt with 035, right? We said whip would give us a 3/16 weld. Circles would give us a 1/4 inch weld. If I went to 045 wire, a whip would give me a 1/4 inch weld. Circles would give me a 5/16 weld. See how it grows a 16th every time you add a wire size? We'll go with 052. A whip will give me a 5/16 weld size with 052 wire. Circles will give me a 3/8 weld size with 052 wire. So now you can build yourself a little chart, weld size versus wire size. You can kind of even give yourself a little chart. Here's my arc length, here's what I was at wire feed speed for 1/4 inch material. We'll take a guess. What do you think you'd be at with 1/8 inch material? Split it in half, keep the arc length the same. What's half of 325? We'll call it 100 and let's go 165. That is a good starting point. I say 165 seems close. I throw up a scrap piece of material, I do my trial run, I make 4 moves, I dial this machine in, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Thanks for tuning in today on the Pulse MIG section. Here's your notes. Hopefully you guys are taking notes, making flashcards, getting all this information put together. And remember, if you ain't burning, you ain't learning.